What if I told you there existed a company that commanded control of over 90% of US oil market? A company whose captain was the richest non-ruler to ever exist. A company that managed to claw its way to the very top with cunning business practices, smart market decisions, and innovative ideas. This is the story of the Standard Oil Company. So you are probably wondering how Standard Oil managed to achieve all this. And to understand that, we have to take a look at its founder, John D. Rockefeller. He didn't start out being a captain of industry as we know him today. In the beginning, he was a simple boy living in a broken home with poor mother and fraudster father. But poverty did not discourage our little monopoly man. Instead, it only filled him with ambition to get rich and determination to see it through. But for now, he had bigger issues to take care of. His family was broke, and he was the man of the house whilst his father was not around, which was most of the time. He worked many small, unofficial jobs, but his first real one was being a bookkeeper. The day he got that job, he started celebrating it as a job day. Being a man of the house on such small income taught him of resourcefulness, a lesson that would serve him well in the future. Over the years, John had gotten a reputation that he wasn't like his father. He was honest, hardworking, smart and religious, a characteristic taught to him by his mother. So he managed to receive a $4,000 loan, which adjusted for inflation would be approximately $170,000 nowadays. He started a trading business with that money, and in the first year made $450,000, which was wild. But that's $450,000 without counting in expenses. Still great, more than enough to pay off his lenders, but Rockefeller had dreams of more. He knew that being a trader would only get him so far. If he wanted to be the rich man's rich guy, he needed to become a captain of industry. But how? All the good-paying industries have already been monopolized. He couldn't compete with them, he didn't have enough money. If only there was an up-and-coming industry with massive profit margins and non-established monopolies. And as the light of the lantern flickered in the night, our businessman had his industry. It was oil. In the beginning, Rockefeller was not alone. He had help. And the first oil refinery was not only his, but was shared between business partners. But Rockefeller understood how he wanted to run the company, and that to amass wealth he wanted, he needed to get rid of the other partners. So he bought them off, and Standard Oil was formed. Now, Rockefeller was not a small guy, but also he wasn't the biggest fish around. So he decided that instead of mining for oil, as most were doing, he was gonna refine it and use the byproducts of refinement to power his machines. The bet paid off, and soon he became very wealthy, but his appetite was still not satiated. If he wanted to expand further, he needed to compete with oil companies directly. So, how would our still relatively little company prevail against the rising giants in the industry? Well, Rockefeller had a plan. The plan was to be fully self-sufficient. Rockefeller wanted to cut costs, and he would do it with every resource he got, or in some cases buying entirely new resources, like an entire forest. Rockefeller knew that he could make barrels for oil at lower cost than he got from his suppliers. So he bought a forest and started producing them himself. He also started buying out other companies, but unlike other monopolies, he allowed former owners to remain in charge, if they of course decided to be loyal to him and remain profitable. However, as in any corporation, there were out to be problems. One of the more famous ones was Rockefeller's feud with the rail monopolies. The feud that resulted in him losing his privileged status with them. Now, if Rockefeller was any other businessman, seeing his hard-earned business in a potential danger or shutdown, or at the very least heavy loss of money, he would have asked for negotiations and peace. But Rockefeller was not like every other businessman. He had immense pride, and so he decided that instead of shipping them by rail, he was gonna do it by pipeline, which was another great decision by him, because transport by pipe turned out to be cheaper than by rail. But not all was well with Rockefeller's image either. Over the years he had accrued a lot of controversy, and one of his most controversial tactics was price war, a tactic where he would deliberately lose money so competitors could not compete and would go bankrupt. This was all well and good, but it would also come to bite Standard Oil in the ass and destroy it later on. The fall of the Standard Oil began with the election of Teddy Roosevelt, a man that vowed to destroy monopolies and their business activities. And he would do this using the Sherman Antitrust Act. He broke up many monopolies, including Standard Oil, into several smaller ones, which originally pissed Rockefeller off. But as oil became more and more important in everyday life, and his shares in his Standard Oil descendant companies became more valuable, Rockefeller stopped caring and focused on his philanthropy organizations and reputation. And yeah, that was the end of the Standard Oil. The king was slain and the market became a little bit more fair. So that was the rise and fall of Standard Oil Company. If you liked this video, leave a like and subscribe. See you soon. Bye.